Each year in the United Kingdom, according to the UK government's own figures, nearly 3 million animals are poisoned, surgically injured, driven insane, burnt, irradiated, starved, electrocuted, and kept in solitary confinement for long periods of time in experiments which most people would have trouble conceiving. Animals are used in this manner by the pharmaceutical and chemical industries, universities and private research institutions, and by the military in the testing of new weapons, be they conventional, nuclear, or biological. Although the vast majority of animals used are rats and mice, monkeys, cats, dogs, birds, fish, horses, farm animals, and many other species are routinely used. This is the secret world of vivisection, a term which literally means the cutting of live animals, but which today generally applies to all experiments on living animals. Animals are used in research purportedly to help find cures or treatments for human diseases or to provide assurances of safety in the testing of drugs, household or industrial chemicals, cosmetics, or other substances that might potentially be a hazard to human health. It is a massive worldwide industry involving the deaths of countless millions of animals each year. The fundamental stance against vivisection by many people is simple, that it is morally wrong to torture and kill animals, and in an ideal world this would be the end of the matter. However, those who defend vivisection have a different version of morality, one that states that if a species or race considers itself superior, that is sufficient reason to use supposedly lesser creatures in whichever way it thinks fit. However, it is an unfortunate fact that many people, taken in by a relentless stream of propaganda from an industry-beholden media, are convinced that the solution to the diseases plaguing mankind is through animal experimentation, and that the whole argument is one of animal rights versus human rights. Unfortunately, it is, however, a fact that those who benefit from vivisection's continuation are very happy with the notion of animal rights, knowing full well that this in no way challenges the existence of vivisection, and that the vast majority of people will always put human beings before animals. Indeed, it's common to hear the defenders of vivisection ask, which is it to be, the health of these sick babies, or the lives of a few dirty lab rats? And this, for most people, is the end of the discussion. The genuine anti-vivisection movement, however, refuses to get caught up in this endless moral debate, knowing full well that there are sound scientific, medical, environmental, and economic arguments against vivisection, arguments that, if made common knowledge, would swiftly bring about its total abolition. It also refuses to get caught up in any discussions about alternatives to animal experiments. There can never be any alternative to something as fundamentally useless and misleading as vivisection. The only true alternative is the total abolition of vivisection and its replacement with genuine research methods that in no way can be compared to the sham of animal experimentation. That vivisection has been able to survive for over 100 years and has grown into the massive industry that it is today is due to two essential factors: secrecy and deception. If vivisection is such a beneficial, humane practice as we are constantly assured it is, and performed by caring individuals whose motives are purely altruistic, why is the practice surrounded by this wall of secrecy and deception, which ensures that most people are deliberately left unaware of what happens in their name and often with their money? Those opposed to vivisection are often accused of being opposed to medical progress. But in reality, many of those who speak out against vivisection do so in the knowledge that vivisection, as well as being unforgivably cruel to animals, is so misleading as to be hazardous to human health. Indeed, within the medical profession itself, there is a growing movement of doctors and scientists prepared to speak out against animal experiments, and groups of doctors opposed to vivisection exist in many countries, including Britain, with Doctors and Lawyers for Responsible Medicine. In fact, there is a long history of those within the medical profession who have been opposed to animal research. More recently, a survey commissioned by Europeans for Medical Progress of 500 general practitioners in August 2004 showed a staggering level of distrust in results obtained from animal experiments, with 82% concerned that animal data can be misleading when applied to humans, and 83% supporting an independent scientific evaluation of the clinical relevance of animal experimentation.
Well, for the benefit of medical science, I agree that vivisection or animal experimentation should be stopped. And there are a lot of reasons to that. The most important is that it is simply misleading, and the past and the present both testify to this. The animals are unique in their own ways. Every creature is, but they are not exactly like the human model. They're different. So the great advances that brought us where we are, they do not owe their existence to animal experimentation, period. And I firmly believe that animal experimentation does inevitably leads to human experimentation, something that we want to avoid. In order to eliminate vivisection, the best way to go is to educate ourselves, our own families, our friends, our work colleagues, our community, the world at large. They should know the facts as they are. I do certainly agree that animal experimentation or vivisection should be abolished for the reasons I just mentioned.
Scrutiny of the facts does not substantiate the claims of those who say that animal research is a necessary evil. In reality, there is no choice to be made between babies or dogs, as the advocates of vivisection would have us believe, but simply a choice between genuine science and false science. One certainly does not need to be an expert to realize that vivisection is, as described by ex-vivisector and author of Vivisection or Science, Professor Pietro Croce, a methodological error which has led medicine astray and which ultimately can never be of benefit to people. The reasons for this are fundamental.